You are listening to Peak One Sports.
All right, trying to make sure I'm off mute here. Oh no, what's going on here? Am I lagging real bad? All right, everybody hear me? What's going on, everybody? This is our excuse me. This is our 4th of July special stream. Kind of first we're really ever doing here. Starting off with me, Dan Boyer, aka Neon Super Shrimp, and so far joined by Kenny Reckless. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
What's up? On the mend. Those kidney stones were a pain in the ass, and still kind of are. Trying to drink, one of these. Gonna shout out Philly and the birthplace of the country. One of these Wawa water jugs a day. But on the mend, feeling a little bit better. Still on doctor's bed rest, but glad to be on the show.
Yeah, man. We're getting older. We got to take care of ourselves. We got to take better care of ourselves. We are just not in our 20s.
I'm looking at my camera and I'm seeing gray in the beard, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I should just shave it.
Man, every time I find it in mine, I'm like, pull that shit out. I do not need any of that right now. I've got some friends that have given up on it because they've got enough in their beard that it basically just like blends in and everything. But I just get like every once in a while I get like one gray hair somewhere on my chin, and I gotta suss it out. Make sure that is not
where the grays are now used to all be fiery red, being of Irish and Norse descent. It's instead of Eric the Red, I'm turning into Eric the Gray.
Man, that's actually what I've been told for a while too, right? Because when I grow mine out more, I've got some red in my beard, and I've been told like all that red hair is going to turn to grays, and I was like, I mean, to be honest, it'll be fine as long as it's like enough of it, But when it's just like one hair kind of randomly in places, it's not enough. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Looking like Willie Robertson from Duck Dynasty over here right now.
Yeah, man, you got it going on though.
I
don't think I could ever grow mine out that far. I grew mine out around COVID and stuff, but I didn't. I definitely didn't do anything that extreme. I was definitely.
I normally would trim it a little bit down, but I'm trying to do an event, and I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Sarah, who runs this event every year. It's called Beards for Breasts in Easton, Pennsylvania. And they all proceeds go to the Cancer Society of the Lehigh Valley, and they auction off your beard and let whoever wins the auction shave it.
Oh, that's pretty dope. That's pretty cool. All right, and joining us, my favorite guy, Ashton Nix. What's going on, buddy? How's your 4th been so far?
You're right in front of Kenny that I'm your favorite. That's rude.
It's all good. It's all good.
No, it's been going great. A lot of cooking and grilling and entertaining kids so far, but
happy Treason Day, by the way, guys.
It's only treason if you lose, right?
Ah, boy. USA.
Right. Winners tell the story. It's my favorite part of history.
It's also a sad part of history overall. Not in this case, but just in general. Yeah, winners write the history book. But I mean, hey.
How many people you entertaining? I saw you is this the christening of your Blackstone?
Yeah, pretty easy start. It was just hamburgers and hot dogs.
Fire.
Yeah, I went a little overboard. They many videos I watch say you have to watch the temperature, and like hot dogs and hamburgers are pretty easy. You don't have to really worry about it. But I got a little infrared temperature gauge thing, the gun, and I was shooting it on there. Man, it was 400 in one spot, 280 in one spot. Like, I wasn't going to screw up hamburgers. I mean, they're pretty simple, but worries me for when I get a little bit more complex recipes, but
Yeah.
it's going to be. But yeah, this is the first time I've used it. Very, very
So
simple.
it has like
You
a
know,
hot side and a cool side.
yeah, we had the 2 burner, so the corners don't get as warm
Yeah,
as the
sure.
rest of it. The idea is I'm gonna get. I've seen people get like little hand torches and heat it up with. So it's a little more delicate than a grill. You can't just turn it on high all the way, but I'm learning.
Sure. But I mean, when you're doing like groups of things, you know what I mean? It's like when something starts to cook a little faster or something, you can always like
Yeah,
push it
for
off into
sure.
the corner to cook a little
Yeah, you have
slower. And
to. You'll get to learn your you call it a griddle, I guess, but it's a Blackstone brand. But you'll get to learn your griddle and know that's where your cold spots are. That's where you like your warm up places. Like, okay, now they're done cooking. Let's set those over there for now. And forward burners are a little bit easier because you can regulate the sides better. Turn a couple of burners on here and turn the other ones on low or whatever. But I'm working through it. I'll figure it out and I'll start making some more complex.
yeah, for sure. No, I've
How'd
seen
the
some like really
seasoning
cool.
go?
It was a little tedious, but it went all right.
Sure.
Yeah, the first time we set it all up, I didn't watch the video till we set it up, and it was like 9:30 at night the other night, and it was like, yeah, you do this, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. So
Yeah.
took a little
Welcome to
while.
I
my
mean,
world as a
it's
pro
pretty much
chef.
like
Yeah.
seasoning my cast iron. Yeah.
Yeah,
To be honest, for the
worst
most part,
case, screw
I
it
just
up.
cook a lot of like bacon on it and then
Yeah,
like wipe it down real good and throw it in the
yeah.
oven and then do it again, like,
I'll be honest with
but
you, Dan.
yeah,
One of
sure.
my first jobs as a line cook, my favorite day was the day when our prep cook would cook all the bacon off. Because instead of using the oven, she would use the flat top, and I'd come in, and that flat top was
Perfect, right? Just
beautiful. Yeah, just nothing stuck, nothing. Yeah, everything was.
right. I mean,
That bacon grease is the best.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And then on top of that, I get my bacon that I can turn into like bacon bits or whatever for my salad,
Yeah.
or I can put it on my sandwiches or burgers or whatever I'm making. And plus my cast iron just got seasoned, like easy peasy, like kill two birds. So it's a very handy tool. I love it very much.
But then I got a question to ask you. Did you bet on that on the hot dog competition?
No, honestly, I totally would have, but you can't really do it here from Texas. Any like sports gambling, I didn't see anything
Can't do it
where I
on
would
the
have been
app.
able to
Do it
do.
under the table though. You didn't ask me if I wanted to throw any money on it.
No,
I mean,
that's
that's
fair.
true. I
didn't
would have.
ask you.
To be honest,
I think
actually, I
the
thought
loss
I
I
thought about
had
texting Kenny.
I was going to put my money on Bertelli anyways, but
Oh,
I guess
I would have put.
it's
I
easy to
would've put
say
my
that
money
after
on
the
the over.
fact, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
the under.
definitely
my
would have
money
put
on
the
the over.
over.
Um,
Yeah,
Well,
especially after that women's competition, man. Oh
yeah,
my
exactly.
goodness.
I
Oh
put
my
the under, and then I
God.
saw the winner of the women's was like, was it 51? I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It
but
was
I'm
like, oh,
surprised.
these
I thought
men
he
are
was
gonna
going
win.
65. I thought the men's would be 65, but it was a little bit closer. I mean, it kind of was, the last minute kind of a blowout, but up until about 3 or 4 minutes left, it kept changing hands. The first place guy kept uh, getting flagged around, and I was worried that the Australian was going to win because, I mean, you have to have an American win. I mean, I like Kobayashi, but Kobayashi shouldn't have been winning. Joey Chestnut really was the hero to come in, and this is an American competition. Americans should win, right?
Absolutely.
As long as it's not a
You know,
Brit, I guess, because that's kind of a
like
slap in the face.
I'm totally with that, but I just kind of wanted to throw this out there and talk about it a little bit. And Kobayashi actually did like an interview. I want to say it was like just yesterday. But he's basically talking about like, and I remember watching this documentary about Kobayashi and everything too. Like through his career, kind of through the early 2000s. But he was like the headliner for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest for the first few years it was going in the early 2000s. I want to say for like 3 or 4 years he was a reigning champion before Joey unseats him in like 2007, I think it was. And then
2007. Yes.
yeah, and then at that point, I don't know if it's like Nathan's or Major League Eating or ESPN or whoever it is, but they paint this like picture of Kobayashi being like the bad guy from Japan, trying to like take something away from Americans. This 4th of July hot dog eating contest, which is like purely American and everything. And then, suddenly he became like crazy. I don't I don't necessarily want to say hated, but to be honest, that's probably the word to use. It was like after that he was like disliked very heavily, like throughout the US even. He talked about how like when he would come here for like other eating competitions and stuff, he was like suddenly
Yeah.
the bad guy and everything. He was no longer the hero that he was in the early 2000s, before Joey Chestnut. And there's kind of like that turning point where that one 4th of
Because
July,
they
Joey
painted it as a
Chestnut,
picture of
their painting of the rivalry. But the
the
crazy
American.
part, I got to say too, right, is that like I truly believe that the rivalry between Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi has been nothing but like good for Major League Eating. It's helped
Yeah.
put them more on the map, and I mean, so is like social media and stuff, and like some of these other competitive eaters and stuff that I've seen, on TikTok and YouTube and whatnot. But uh, I don't know, man. I
Question.
guess I almost just feel a little bad for Kobayashi in the sense that like he's been painted as the bad guy now when he was
Yeah.
initially kind of the hero for us. But
Did you guys see the dude who had a PhD in physics and is a science teacher? On the it was on the little blurb on the bottom. Um,
oh no, I
he's
must
a
have
high
missed that
school
one.
science teacher. I
Yeah.
can't remember his name.
I mean, that's
Um,
a pretty dope like little side gig or whatever.
I mean, that just
Being
reminds
a
me
competitive.
of the guitarist from Queen, Brian May.
Yeah.
Oh
He's
yeah,
got a PhD in astrophysics, and
yeah,
here he is playing "We Are the Champions."
Yeah.
yeah. No, have you ever seen Fistful of Quarters?
No, I haven't.
Uh, so it's a documentary. It's actually pretty good, but it's a documentary basically about this he's like I think he's a middle school teacher or something. I can't remember exactly what his subject was. It might have been math or something. But anyway, it's about like his pursuit to try and set a new world record in the original Donkey Kong. And
Hmm.
really the best part about it is actually the guy who's like set the original record on a number of games like Centipede and Pac-Man and things like that. Um, and he's actually like corrupt as fuck. And there's like this whole like corrupt thing where the guy breaks the record, and then because this guy tells the record holding company or whatever it is, he's basically like, no, he has to do it like live in person. It can't be like a VHS tape. He could doctor a VHS tape. And so he goes to a live competition and sets a new world record. And then it turns out the guy had sent a videotape of him breaking the world record already, but it was like super sus because like the score in the corner like scratches on the VHS tape at a second, and like then
Yeah.
when it comes back it changes.
Hmm.
And so it was exactly what he had said before. He had doctored a tape to try and keep his record, which they like let him and they like sussed the whole thing out. But it's a pretty interesting documentary if you're like into watching like nonsense kind of documentaries. Fistful of Quarters.
Kind of
Pretty
reminds
good
me
one
of
about Donkey Kong.
what was that Adam Sandler movie that was where the aliens were
Like
invading and
pixels or something like
there you
Yeah,
that.
go. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Reminds me of that one character in that who was cheating. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
I know what you're
Good
talking
actor,
about.
by the way. He's in a bunch
Yeah,
of.
actually,
He's in a.
that character is like based on him. Like he kind of
Oh
looks
no, crap!
exactly
That's
like
awesome.
him. Yeah. Yeah, like he wears the
That
suit and tie, he's got the beard. Like that's what he basically looks like. They had him.
So it's
It's really
basically a
funny.
true story except for the alien invasion.
Right,
I mean,
yes. Yeah, kind of, yeah.
not that we know of. I don't know.
I guess that's
I
true. I
mean,
Blink One
mean,
Eighty Two.
there's a
Blink
lot.
One
There's a
Eighty
lot
Two
we don't know
proved
about.
their UFOs are real.
There's a lot
we
we don't know about.
we love our government. Just in
Well, on the 4th of July,
case
we do,
anyone's
right?
in
We
case
love our
anyone's
country.
listening.
We don't love the government. We
Oh
Speaking
no.
of which, shout out 4th of July, and I just want to say, like, as a veteran to everybody out there on 4th of July enjoying the fireworks and the freedom and everything, right? I just want to say you're welcome. I fought hard for your freedom. You deserve it. I want you guys to know.
don't blow your hand.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, don't blow your hand off.
Same
Right.
here.
Don't
Dan.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Right.
As a,
Me,
as
me
a,
and
as
Kenny
a,
both,
as a
just want to
fellow
say you're
veteran,
welcome for your freedom. Just enjoy it today.
I will say, I got my speakers up loud. I got my TV up loud. That way tonight. That way, my dog and my cat won't be bothered. My dog's 12 years old. He almost 12 years old rather. He won't hear crap anyway. Just go ahead and blow shit up. Just don't blow your hands off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody
Honestly,
in my
I was
neighborhood
fine with the
Facebook
fireworks.
page. Well, somebody in my neighborhood Facebook page said, "Hey, they put themselves as anonymous too, but they said, hey, we were thinking about doing like small fireworks, like sparklers and poppers and whatever they're called. Is anybody going to call the cops if we do that?" And I posted on there, I'm like, I'm not going to call the cops. I don't care. Like 4th of July, we live about a mile
Small
out.
stuff like that. No, I'm not calling the cops on sparklers.
Yeah,
Come
well,
on.
we live anything. I'm probably not, unless it's blowing big fireworks right next door and it's like danger to my house or something. But I mean, we live inside city
Sure,
limits,
if you've
but
got
about a
artillery
mile down the
involved.
road, it's outside city limits, so we can hear fireworks, we can see fireworks. So I'm not going to complain. People can even tell how close they are, anyways. But yeah, I'm not going to call the cops. I'm not going to be that guy.
I mean, when I lived downtown, there was a couple people who had just moved in across the street and started setting off literal mortars, like the mortar fireworks, the big ass booms, in the middle of 4th Street in Easton, Pennsylvania, which is really only like 30 feet across, 40 feet across, maybe. It's 2-lane road and like probably a 5-foot sidewalk on each side. That was the only time I've ever called the cops on someone for fireworks.
Yeah, if you're like
that was.
if you're throwing like black cats on my front porch or Roman candles through my windows or something,
Right.
that'd be the time I'd be like, okay, we need to do something here. But in general, I don't care.
Yeah, no, if you're being like relatively responsible and just shooting off some fireworks, like I'm pretty good with that, Like
Speaking of
honestly,
Roman
I'd probably
candles,
even be
Ashton,
fine with my neighbors like shooting off like artillery type shell, whatever, as long as they were like in the middle of the street and like away from trees, Like they
Yeah.
found like that spot, and I'm like, okay, like that seems fine, like whatever, not my problem, whatever. But I don't know, some
Ashton,
people are way
Ashton,
more
I
uptight.
gotta touch on this real quick because you brought up Roman candles, and then
Yeah.
we'll get to the important parts of this conversation. So I grew up, not all of my life, but I lived on Lake Hopakon, and we used to have, after the 4th of July fireworks put on by the Lake Hopakon Yacht Club every year, me and my friends used to drive our boats away, very drunk, shooting Roman candles at each other from boat to boat.
Yeah. We never did it on boats, but we were definitely idiots. And we lived out in the country growing up, and my parents would always throw like a big summer party, and it was, usually coincided on 4th of July, and we have a big bonfire, and we may have not sober because we weren't of drinking age, and of course, I mean, we were like 13 or 14, not getting wasted just yet, and having Roman candle fights, not even thinking, oh yeah, I didn't get hit, but the Roman candle went somewhere, forget people behind the car, but and there were like maybe
your pants.
30 people,
Man.
30, 40 people around.
I used to have Roman candle fights when I was like a teenager and stuff all the time. No
Yeah.
big deal. I had like never been hit. Then I'm in the army and we're like a month from deployment. It's like New Year's, And where I'm at, I'm hanging out with a bunch of guys from my company, and like all these houses, their back porch goes out into like this huge open area, so everybody's house just like is backed up to this big open spot. We're back here having a Roman candle fight, shooting at each other. I literally get hit for the first time, and it's funny to me because the thing is burning until just before it hits my head, when it like goes out and the ball hits me. And I was like, haha, that's funny. And I keep running. Then one of the guys in my company lights a mortar and throws it from the back porch balcony, and it rockets straight at me. It hits me in my thigh, like as I'm in stride running across the backyard. I drop to the ground. This rocket stops right next to me. I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
I disappear in like a green firework. I get up, walk, like limp back to the house, and I'm like, I quit. I'm done. I'm out. I don't want to play anymore.
Put it in reverse, Terry.
The
Put it
most
in
terrifying
reverse.
experience of my life. I had this huge, like, nasty bruise on the inside of my thigh for like a week. It was awful. I couldn't explain it to anybody back at the company either, because it's obviously like I'm limping, and every time I go to PT and we got to run or something, I'm like limping. I can't really keep up and everything. They're like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, it was a crazy night, you know. It just like I fell. I can't say I was having a fireworks war.
Well, I met this girl, and
Oh boy, here we go.
just leave it at that. Like I can't say that. I can't tell that story, and then just leave them in suspense and mystery.
All right, should we do these hot dogs?
Yeah,
You
I've been
guys-
wanting
I
to eat
think
my
we
hot dog,
should.
and yeah.
Let me see what you guys got.
I don't like my
here.
display. I really prefer chopped up onions or diced onions, but I sauteed these onions, the big loops of them.
Okay.
So for burgers, so this is what I have. But it is, what is it? It's not a Nathan's hot dog. It is a ballpark, because I had to get.
Hey Dan, can you zoom in on his picture so I can see that hot dog better?
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah. Move my camera, but 16 hot dogs, and just for price purposes. So that, yeah, it's a string of onion. It's not diced, but it's got mustard relish, a pickle, and an onion. I was, not thinking about diced onions, so that's y'all can come back now.
All right, I like the presentation. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
with you.
diced onions would be a little
toppings.
better, and I wanted to put a tomato on there, like Chicago dog style, because I've become very fond of Chicago dogs. But we just didn't have tomatoes. My wife didn't get any tomatoes, whatever. So that's
Blame the
mine. If I
wife.
don't
Blame the
win,
wife.
I'm gonna have this competition on protest because of what my hot dog was supposed to look like. But
I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 on that presentation.
8 out of 10. That's probably a little high. But I'm really disappointed about not having the diced onions. It's got the string. It'll taste the same, but okay.
I'll be honest with you. This sautéed onion, that big sautéed onion ring, looks good. I know you wanted the dice across the top.
Yeah,
but it looks good. It does look good.
Yeah. And then I wanted
It does look good.
Tomato slices on it and all that. But yeah, it's a ballpark frame.
I'll give your brand choice like a 5 out of 10. They're kind of average for me, ballparks.
Yeah. It wasn't Oscar
Dan.
Mayer. I mean,
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm not gonna lie. I cheated in this competition, and
you talked about this. I don't think it was cheating.
I went rogue. I got myself some jalapeno cheddar. Here, I'll fix the camera real quick. I got myself some jalapeno cheddar bratwurst, and I just put a little yellow mustard on top. To be honest, I wanted to put spicy mustard, but I ran out. And I think these are going to be plenty spicy, because when I pulled them out and I was cooking them and everything, man, they smell like plenty full of jalapeno. So I'm real excited for these.
So Dan, what did you cook yours in?
So I didn't realize this when I actually bought them, but they were already pre-cooked. So I put them in a skillet to steam them, and I let them cook and get a little really I let them go until they kind of browned outside, and then they started to split a little bit. So
nice. That's the classic. That's the classic North Jersey style right there. Getting the ripper.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you know when
I like the ripper.
When it starts splitting, that's
my cue right there. That's my time.
Yeah.
Yep. To be honest, I probably would have grilled them if I had a grill. But since I don't, and they were already pre-cooked, so which I honestly did not realize when I initially grabbed them. I did also buy
all over.
Yeah, that's why
I did also buy some Nathan's hot dogs. I think I got the restaurant style, so I think they've still got the skin on and everything, which I'm gonna make for dinner later for me and the girlfriend. But girlfriend doesn't really eat pork, So that just made this easier for me, I think. And then I'm also washing this down with my beer. But also shout out to Debbie if you're looking for looking for a superior energy drink to replace your inferior caffeinated beverages. Debbie contains zero maltodextrin, zero fillers, zero artificial colors and dyes, and zero proprietary blends. The coffee fruit extract star of this beverage, helping you energize without jitters or crash. Use code PEAK1 today and receive 10% off your order at Debbie today.
But then I'll give your presentation. That's unfortunately gonna be a 6 out of 10. But your choice of what to put on the bun is gonna be an 8 out of 10 on that. I'm gonna have to give Ashton the nod right now, because he used an actual hot dog, even though it's my least favorite brand of hot dog. But there's
Least favorite popular brand. I mean, like Oscar Mayer's probably worse, but yeah, I get it.
Hey, listen,
Ashton, what brand did you say you used?
Ballpark.
Ballpark. Yeah.
They drive a Wienermobile around, and they let me in the Wienermobile last year when it was here. So I got to give Oscar Mayer a little credit. Not a huge fan of the skinless dogs. I like a snap every time I bite.
Yeah.
So like Thumans, Sabrettes. I don't know if you guys can get those down there.
I was at Walmart yesterday looking, and the pickings were actually pretty slim. I was kind of annoyed. They had like Nathan's and like Oscar Mayer and Ballpark, and then like obviously like the Walmart brand, whatever. But that was pretty much it. Then after that, it was like bratwurst and whatever, and there was like a pretty deep selection of brats and whatever, which is why I kind of got some. But man, I was kind of mad that the pickings were so slim because I kind of wanted to try. I think it was Thurman's that I wanted to get, and to be honest, if I would have planned a little bit better, which is always my excuse, I probably could have just ordered some online, and had them in plenty of time. But next year,
I mean,
Labor Day, maybe we'll do this again.
We didn't really plan this too far in advance, so it's not like you had exactly.
I don't want
to
figure it out.
Figure it out. Yeah.
I don't want to overplay our hand, but we are planning an actual hot dog eating competition for next year with actual competitors, an actual sponsor, and an actual presentation. But that's in the works. Okay. Well, that's in the works. We have to, cross it. I mean, worst case, we can get it set up with time. We don't have to, but I think it'll be like kind of an actual fun deal, like not involving us, because I'm with you, Kenny, because I know health reasons you shouldn't be eating hot dogs. That's what I was thinking when we were talking about a hot dog eating contest, because I have an issue with liver. Like I can eat hot dogs, but I shouldn't just scarf them down like we were talking about doing. And so we're gonna have actual people. I think next year that's the plan, anyways. But I appreciate the love, Kenny. But I think you're only giving me the nod in there because Dan called me his favorite guy when I got on here. I think you're being.
I'm giving you the nod because you use an actual hot dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
honestly, I felt like if I was going to lose, that was going to be the criteria that cost me right there. Yeah. Was that I didn't use a hot dog.
To be fair,
there's a risk I was willing to take.
What Dan's eating probably tastes a lot better than what I'm eating now because of that. But yeah, that. I wouldn't call it cheating, but I had already went shopping when he told me last night that that's what he was going to have. And I'm like, well, that just gave him I wasn't mad about it. I was like, hey, I wish I would have thought of that. But
well, in my defense, I did tell you, like, I wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not. I was still deciding because I do have Nathan's hot dogs. But my girlfriend doesn't eat pork. So
does it say, what does it say on the outside of the package?
Restaurant style. I avoided the package that says skinless. I avoided the skinless.
All right, I
got the other one. I'm not positive that it's not skinless, but it doesn't say skinless on it. It says restaurant style. So,
well, Nathan's invented the skinless dog, but that dog that you got, the restaurant style, on your grill. And for me personally, as I live in hot dog Mecca, Rutt's Hut is 45 minutes away, and they've been rated the #1 hot dog joint in the United States for 30 plus years. Hot Dog Johnny's, has been rated in the top 10 for 20 years. There's a bunch of other hot dog spots, Hot Grill, Texas Wieners in Clifton. They all outside of Hot Dog Johnny's use a natural casing hot dog. And to me, either deep fry or grill it until it gets nice and well done on the outside. Like, you need that well done dog that just every bite has that same snap. That's key.
I mean,
to me.
that's how I like them. But
I think
my
we're all
girlfriend
winners
likes them
because
like
nobody boiled their hot dogs today, so out of us. So I think we're all winners today for that reason.
Right.
Hey.
Have that
Do
gross
not talk
wiener
shit
water.
on dirty water dogs. Dirty water dogs.
No.
On the
I mean,
street
not
in
on 4th of
Morristown,
July,
New
man.
Jersey are
Not on
delicious.
4th of July. Like, no, it's fine. Like,
No, not ever.
especially for
Even at a
dinner,
baseball
like,
game,
just
I hate
quick sometimes. I mean, if you happen to own a grill, that's the way you should make hot dogs. Just turn it on, clean it, and grill them real quick. They're way better. But if you don't have that option, I get it. But on 4th of July, you take the extra step to not have those. But I don't know.
Man,
I'm a big fan of the deep fry.
That's different. That's not boiled in wiener water. That's very completely different. I feel like anything deep fried makes it slightly better, if not way better.
Even at the
y'all are
Rangers
from the
games,
South,
I
so-
avoid the dirty water dogs if I can.
I say that outside of deep fried beer because that was not better.
Wait, when did you deep fry a beer?
I didn't deep fry it. It was at the Texas State Fair, which is the king of deep frying everything.
I once had deep fried butter at the Ohio State Fair.
Yeah, they have that too. I mean, it's
was
basically
Texas
like
first.
a little, like a pizza roll type deal that you eat.
Okay.
You're supposed to dip it in cheese and you eat it, and it's warm beer inside. Like, okay, I tried it, but I wouldn't.
I would imagine they freeze beer, ice cubes, wrap them in dough, fry it.
That sounds disgusting.
Hey, I had to try it, but yeah, it was not good.
I mean, I would have tried it too.
Yeah.
Speaking
So
of
if you want to
deep-fried
come
fair
down in
foods-
October, at any time in October, we can take you to the State Fair of Texas and try some deep fried stuff.
Man,
Speaking of
confession
deep
time,
fried foods, my
never
favorite.
been to the Texas State Fair.
Oh,
I've been twice, and it's an experience, but it's like you're glad after you got it done. You're like, we tried to have a big. See, I didn't have my youngest son. My oldest son was about 1, maybe a little older than 1, and we live just south of Fort Worth, so it's probably about, if we drove to Dallas, it's about a little over 30 minutes. So we drove to Fort Worth and took the train over to Dallas, and then you switch to the DART train and took that to the State Fair. That was the idea, and it was fine going there, but coming back, everyone was leaving at the same time. So it was crowded, just no place to sit, bodies to bodies. You've been sweating all day. You're tired. You're just
right.
And the family that was next to us, the daughter was caught, like maybe a little 5-year-old girl was coughing a lot. And the guy was saying to sleeveless shirt, which is, I don't care, but he's like holding on to the thing and his armpits like, but he's like talking to his wife about like, yeah, I think she has the flu. I think that, like, great. We're all like right here next to each other.
Right. Yeah.
And man, we get back
quarters,
home and like, I just wanted to burn my clothes by the time I got home. It was an experience. I don't regret going in that particular time, but that's definitely the way to go. That would have sucked to have to drive all the way back. So you just take public transit over there, but it was definitely
the New Jersey State Fair used to be in Sussex County, which is the county I lived in for a big chunk of my life. And when I didn't live there, I vacationed there because my parents had a camper up, or my grandparents rather had a camper up there that was about 1.5 miles. There was one year it rained at the New Jersey State Fair. And it rained like the day before and then rained midway through the fair. Nobody left because it's the New Jersey State Fair and Sussex County Horse and horse and something show. I forget exactly what the other words are. But literally every car that did not have 4-wheel drive was stuck in the mud, and everybody was trying to push their shit out and getting coated in mud, trying to push their cars out of the parking lot, because the parking lot isn't a parking lot. It is just a field.
Well, that's a benefit. I mean, normally it's a downside to the State Fair of Texas is in down. I mean, pretty much it's a little outside of downtown. It's not in downtown, but it's in the middle of Dallas. So, like, you have plenty of parking lot. Like, it's you don't have to worry about that. But it's a traffic nightmare. You're trying to get into Dallas, and obviously, Texas OU weekend is State Fair time, and I've never been to the State
I forgot about
during
that.
the Texas OU game. I've heard that's impossible to deal with, but
I forgot that's the same time as the Texas OU game.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Well,
it's like-
everybody complains about it too because the game is at like 10 a.m.
they're switching it to 2:30 this year, but yeah, normally it's been at 10. Yeah,
And so everybody's drunk by midday by the time they leave the game.
And then in the fair park, it is there. It's like inside the
You
stadium.
leave the stadium, you walk across the parking lot to the fair.
Yeah, like when
That's
you're
awesome.
in the State Fair, you're walking like right in front of the Cotton Bowl. You
And
see
so everybody's drunk from the game, Texas and OU, and they all go to the fair.
100,000 people just come out. And like, what are you going to do after the Texas OU
I'm
game?
going to go to the fair.
You're going to go to the State Fair, yeah.
Right, it's right there. Why wouldn't you?
I definitely Ubered
drunk.
one time, and I was picking up everybody from the State Fair. It was a wreck.
Also, score update because the birthplace of America is Philadelphia. The Cubs are up 5-2 on the Phillies.
Rangers lost last night. You see that?
I
What else is new?
didn't. I went to bed early because I'm an old man.
Yeah, I like Philadelphia if it just wasn't for the Eagles and Eagles fans.
I mean, they've softened. I will give them that credit. As a Giants fan, they've
We're about to
softened.
get some bad comments from from Philadelphia.
We're
Eagles
gonna,
fans.
we're
I
gonna
don't know
get-
what's worse, what I said or what you said about them softening.
I mean, they don't throw batteries anymore. Is what I mean by
I guess
they've
that's true.
softened.
You mean soften as like they're not throwing snowballs filled with batteries at Santa Claus. I don't think it's from a lack of trying, though. I think you give them the same opportunity, they probably would still do it.
Well, I mean, they still serve full cans of beer at Lincoln Financial. I mean, that'd be pretty easy to toss one of those at somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, when your head, I don't know if it's this head security guy, but when your on-field security guy gets involved in the fights between the players, then it's those skirmishes are kind of getting out of hand when your security guy's on the field trying to fight with you.
I mean, his job is to protect the players, right? Like, I hate to defend the Eagles because they're my most hated rival. But
He's not a bouncer, though. It's not. I guess he kind of is, but he's a little more professional than a bouncer.
That's fair.
But,
I've definitely had more run-ins with drunk, belligerent Cowboys fans from up here.
for sure.
I've never had an issue with a Cowboys fan who actually came from Texas. It's only ever been guys up here
That's
that are
the
like,
bandwagon national fans that give us a bad rap.
yeah,
honestly.
like I don't really have that much of a problem with the Cowboys outside of your division rival.
You talk about like delusional Cowboys fans who every year is our year. That's definitely national team. Like you come to Dallas, man, we hate the Cowboys right now. It's just, especially since the Mavericks, the Stars are making playoff runs. The Rangers just won the World Series. We're like, what the hell, Jerry? Like we're not like
and the Cowboys are doing nothing.
But the consensus down here is that, dude, y'all suck. We're not going to make the playoffs next year if y'all get shit together. That's we're definitely not. We're going to the Super Bowl next year at all.
Hey, Dan, it looks like you're
yeah. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. I was taking myself off a camera when I was taking big bites. He's like,
No, man. I don't care.
But happy 4th to everybody out there. We got a couple other things we're going to talk about. I'll bring them up because Dan's got a mouthful of food. But I made my kids watch The Sandlot last night. They were like, "We want to watch this. We want to watch this." I'm like, "No." They wanted to watch Degrassi at one point, and I'm like, "No, it's America's birthday."
Degrassi was hitting about 20 years ago.
We're not watching, Canadian television. We're watching America. So
yeah,
I wanted to talk about our favorite baseball movies. So I'll go first, if you guys don't mind. The Sandlot and Rookie of the Year are like the two ones that like stick in my head. Then there's The Rookie with Dennis Quaid, the one based on the true story where the high school teacher and I think he was the assistant baseball coach. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. He was the head coach.
Yeah.
Ended up with a big league tryout. One of the greatest sports stories of all time. Probably one of the best baseball stories of all time. But in my opinion, The Sandlot has gotta be my favorite baseball movie of all time. Might not be the best.
That's kind of a 4th of July movie too, because it's over the summer and they have the 4th of July baseball game that they play.
Yeah, so under the fireworks.
Yeah,
and it felt like
one of my favorite scenes.
All right. Oddly enough, I forget who narrated it. I forget his name. But he was the pitching coach from Rookie of the Year, the one who gets stuck in the cage, who's always got the dip in his mouth. Yeah, that's the same dude who narrated it.
He's also in Band of Brothers.
Didn't realize that.
He's the dude on Home Alone, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's the one who went. We're the sticky bandits. Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. He's the one.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of the different guy. Yeah.
He has what does he say? He's like some guys like putting your arm on heat after pitching, and some like putting it in ice. So I have the perfect idea. It's hot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hot and cold.
Hot and cold.
So it's now 8-2 Cubbies at Wrigley Field. I got to be honest. There might not be a better spot to spend 4th of July than Wrigley Field. One of the best fields.
Any baseball field.
Well, yeah, any baseball field, but it's Wrigley. But
yeah, I feel like going to it's not a historic stadium, but it's in Washington D.C. I think going to a Nationals game or something, or maybe like Yankee Stadium or Fenway.
Yeah, even the Red Sox. Yeah.
But if you end up at a baseball game on 4th of July, I don't think you're doing anything wrong at all. I think you did something.
So what are your guys' other favorite baseball movies?
Mine, definitely like you haven't listed one that's not a good movie. I don't think there are any bad baseball movies that I can think of. If the premise is like baseball, The Natural comes to mind. That's a good baseball movie. One that I like because all these other movies have different storylines that baseball kind of surrounds. The one I like is it's all about baseball is Field of Dreams, because it's
great.
It's just constantly Kevin Costner just talking about the game, just little tidbits, like when he has that the scene with Ray Liotta. What do you pronounce it?
Liotta.
Shoeless Joe Jackson. He talks about
New Jersey, rest in peace.
Yeah, he talks about putting the glove in. Has he ever just put a baseball glove in your face and he talks about loving the game. And then James Earl Jones in his scenes talks about the game. And throughout the movie, there's scenes when Kevin Costner's talking to his daughter and his wife and other people just about like that World Series and baseball in general, and playing baseball with his dad and his experience, his relationship with his dad. And I think that movie, it's like about baseball and then everything happens around it.
Yeah.
It's
Ashton,
never
not
heard
to
anybody that
interrupt you.
hasn't put that in like their top 5.
Ashton, not to interrupt you. My middle school science teacher was the grandson of a player on that Black Sox team.
Wow.
Honest Eddie Murphy. Mr. Murphy was my high school science teacher, and he was the Honest Eddie Murphy was one of the only ones not implicated in the steal, I guess, or the rigging. I don't know how you want to put it.
Throwing of the World Series.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a
Yeah.
better word.
Probably.
Yeah.
Great movie. Great movie, even outside of baseball. That, like,
Yeah.
just pulled on the
And-
heartstrings.
And since you mentioned 3, I'll mention another one. Bull Durham is a good one. That one, might be a little inappropriate for some of your younger viewers, but it's another Kevin Costner movie, and I think it does a lot about explaining baseball too, just a little tidbits of baseball, and just kind of speaking from the point of view of like an actual baseball player whose life is just baseball. It's a great movie too.
Yeah, one of the first ones. Hang on. One of the first ones I wanted to bring up, though, because Kenny, you mentioned Rookie of the Year, and I feel like this is on par with that. Y'all remember Angels in the Outfield?
Mhm.
Oh, I love that movie. Love
Right?
that movie.
I used
So
to
like
love that one too.
cheesy kids movies. Yeah.
Oh, that
Cheesy.
one wasn't cheesy. That was a guy, a kid.
Well,
trying
the baseball parts of it, it's like you watch them, like Rookie of the Year 2, you still love them. You're like, that would never happen like that. But okay, I get. I mean, but of
Right.
course, the whole premise is the kid breaks his arm and then can throw really hard. So, I mean, we're splitting hairs here. That's not really realistic.
Well, it was that his tendons were like shortened, which made his arm like faster.
Yeah.
and made it snap, like almost
Yeah.
like a.
So he had this quick delivery. But yeah, because even the doctor was saying like they would loosen up at some point. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that one out there because I feel like that one's on par with Rookie of the Year. And
Yeah.
then obviously, because you mentioned 2 of them, I think it's really funny. Kevin Costner's in like a lot of baseball movies. For
Mhm.
Love of the Game,
For Love of the Game, yeah.
Ooh, good
That's
movie.
that one too.
right?
He's in a golf
That one
movie too.
That one, I feel like you kind of have to be a baseball fan to enjoy, though. I guess.
No, I'm
you don't
not a
think
huge
so?
baseball fan. I
Okay.
enjoy that movie.
Okay. I do too. I enjoy that movie, but like my wife's trying to watch it, and some other people are like, it's all right. I'm like, well, I think you just have to be able to follow it, but maybe not.
and then we were just talking about the 1919 World Series Black Sox. So 8 Men Out.
8 Men Out.
Haven't seen that one. I'll have to watch
Haven't
it.
seen that one. It's
It's
actually pretty
Charlie
good.
Sheen in it.
Pretty star-studded cast. But yeah, it's about the 1919 World Series Black Sox.
John
But-
Charlie Sheen plays in it. I think it's like an 80s movie or 90s, maybe in the 90s.
Yeah, I think it's 90s. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Dan, last night you brought up Moneyball.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Honestly, I feel like I've got a bunch listed here. What I was gonna bring up too was actually I've got like a handful on here that are actually like baseball documentaries. So I don't necessarily know if they count or if you guys have seen them. But shout out like Tim Wakefield, if you've ever seen Knuckleball.
Nope.
No, literally what you think it is. It's a baseball documentary about like the knuckleball being used in baseball, in Major League Baseball. And I want to say at the time, there were only at the time the documentary was being made, there were only 2 knuckleballers in all of MLB, which was like a record. And one was Tim Wakefield for the Red Sox, and the other was I can't think of his name. He was playing for the Mets at the time. He came to the
Yeah,
Rangers
I was about
after.
to ask you. The knuckleballer who played for the Mets.
Yeah, I'm dropping his name now. I can like see his face and everything, but I'm dropping his name. He played for the Rangers too, which I feel bad about because I love the knuckleball. I think it's a fun pitch, especially if you can manage to like actually use it as a pitch in baseball. And it's kind of cool too because the documentary talks about like really for Tim Wakefield, it helped him extend his career because the knuckleball doesn't take nearly
Yeah.
as much force and velocity to, strength and whatever in your arm to throw. It just takes a lot more like precision and technical, uh, whatever. So that one was really cool. Have you seen or heard of No No?
No, is that like something about hitting a no hitter, pitching a no hitter?
Yes, actually, this one's kind of funny to me, just because. So it's about baseball player Doc Ellis, who in the '60s, I believe, I want to say
Oh, when
it
he
might be
took
the
a bunch of
'70s.
LSD.
Yeah, and threw a no hitter for the Pirates, I believe.
It was something like that.
It's in like the
When was
'60s or
it?
'70s, yeah.
60s?
But yeah, it's a documentary about how he threw a no hitter on fully on LSD, tripping balls. Like, so that one's pretty interesting. Um, battered bastards of baseball is about. Oh man, it's. I can see the guy's face too. Kurt Russell, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell's dad, Bing Russell, owned this baseball team in like the '60s or whatever, and it's about like that baseball team and how it like existed and everything that Kurt's dad did to keep the team going and stuff because it was operating like very differently than like how Major League Baseball was doing their thing. But that one's a pretty good one. Facing Nolan, about Nolan Ryan's career, obviously interesting. The man's probably the greatest pitcher to ever come through baseball. Although there's some good pitchers in baseball.
Tom Seaver.
I think Verlander's really good. Seager.
Tom Seaver.
There's another one I was thinking of too earlier, but
Randy Johnson.
I mean, Randy Johnson was good. I don't know if I put him on the same just because his career didn't last as long as Nolan Ryan, you know.
I mean, Nolan Ryan had an unprecedented career for.
For sure, but I mean, but that's what makes him.
Oh, he was like 42 or 43, close to it.
Like Nolan Ryan had a career as long as Marty Brodeur in the NHL,
and he was effective throwing a no hitter at like 44.
Yeah, like the guy was inhuman. And then there's that fight that he had after he beamed. I forget who he beamed, and he was
Jesse
like 40.
Ventura.
Right
Yep.
there. Right there.
Oh, so do you have a picture of it?
Well, there's one with Rugi punching. What's his name? And then right there, he's got him in a headlock. And there's Pudge trying to pull him off. Is it Ventura? Is that a guy's name? And then, yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I get comments on Reels.
Two of the greatest moments.
That has nothing to do about that, but people are like circling that and sending me memes of Jose Bautista doing a bat flip and all kinds of stuff just because they see that in the background.
Right.
Did you guys see that video of Babe Ruth teaching a bunch of kids how to throw different pitches that came out recently?
Mm-mm.
All right, I'll have to send it. I'll have to find it and send it again. But it's Babe teaching people, teaching kids, and it's well after he stopped pitching, because George Sherman Ruth only pitched in the for Boston, I think. I don't think he ever.
Yeah, he only pitched for like 1 or 2 seasons, I think.
Yeah,
I don't even think he finished the second season or whatever. He pitched like once or something that year and didn't.
But it's him showing how to throw the split seam fastball, a curveball, and then since you brought it up, the knuckleball. And it's got to be from like the 30s or 40s. Like it's very early. Also, did not realize the voice of Darth Vader was in multiple baseball movies. I completely forgot he was in Field of Dreams.
James Earl Jones.
Yeah, James Earl Jones. Yeah. Man, to be honest, what I love about the knuckleball too, just like to bring it home for you, right, if you've got younger kids and you want to play catch with them
Unintended.
and just wear them out, throw them some knuckleballs that they just can't catch, right? Because I mean, the knuckleball's so hard to catch the way it floats around.
Make him go and
Throw
chase it.
them some knuckleball, yep, and they have to run around more to go chase it. But that your game of catch will last shorter. You will go inside. They will be tired. It's great for everybody. I use it on my nephews every time I go to like Michigan or something to visit family or whatever.
My
Like,
my
like catching,
son
I'm
my
like throwing
son
knuckleballs, man. Here you go.
my son loves to try to pretend he's a pitcher. I used to play catcher and I played first base back when I played Little League. It's been a very long time. And he'll just lob it random places. And I'm like, no, my feet stay here. You can go get it. And that normally wears him out too.
Yeah.
That's a good one, yeah. I have some more movies if y'all want to keep talking about this, because there's definitely. I feel okay. So I wrote down a few that I also feel like they're kind of like baseball movies, but they're like, I don't know. It feels like loosely baseball movies. Bad News Bears, Benchwarmers, Beer League.
Oh, bench warmers.
Yeah,
that one was funny.
Those are all. I would consider those all baseball
They're like
movies.
really
That's kind of
comedy,
exception,
but
yeah.
they're baseball. Movies like Benchwarmers is. I mean,
Well, the guy hands him the piece of paper that says "I am 12."
right? Yeah.
with, with a 50 in it.
Yeah.
Right, and he's like, "This is legit."
He's like, he's got a goatee.
I feel like I had another one.
He got the original Angels in the Outfield. Also, it was like back in the. I want to say it was a black and white movie, so it was probably like the 40s. I think it was the Pittsburgh Pirates with a team, because I didn't know until like within the last 10 years that Angels in the Outfield was just a remake, because they made it with
I learned that like a few years back too, like in my adulthood, and I was like, "Oh, that's
yeah,
crazy. I had no idea."
I was flipping through the TV, saw Angels in the Outfield, landed on it, and it was like this old movie. I'm like, this isn't right. Then I was watching it, I'm like, oh, it is. It was just based on the Pittsburgh Pirates, or we're dealing with a little girl that could see the Angels. It's kind of the same, basically the same movie.
I'm learning this today.
Yeah, and I mean the newer one's definitely the more entertaining one, because it's an older movie. But yeah, it's a let's say 40s or
it's been kind of crazy to see how far Joseph Gordon-Levitt's come since, like Angels in the Outfield to what, like Inception and Batman and
yeah. Oh yeah.
What was the one where he was the Guido?
Yeah, it's got a few other guys, a couple other.
I hope that's not offensive. I hope that's not.
No, you're good. I usually say on podcasts we can edit it out, but this is live. But we can edit that now. There's a few. I need to rewatch Angels in the Outfield. I feel like there's a few guys that have gone out. Like you're like, oh, that's that guy. If we go back and watch it, we'll realize, oh yeah, that's that guy. That's that guy.
Right.
I can think of
honestly, every time I see Joseph Gordon-Levitt in like a movie or something, that's what I remember from my childhood was Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah, I remember that.
I watched that movie so
I hate
much.
about you, but for sure, Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah,
the kid from Rookie of the Year is
Ian.
He plays the dude who ends up sleeping with Tara Reid in
American Pie. He plays in a Halloween movie. Plays in a few things, yeah.
But he hasn't been in as much like lately. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I think American Pie was the highlight of his career, at least for now that I can think of.
Yeah.
Also, the crazy thing was Bobby Bonilla and Barry Bonds were both in Rookie of the Year, in like cameo roles as players for their respective teams.
Oh, you made me just think, because I was thinking it wasn't Randy Johnson, but Randy Johnson was in Little Big League. Is that the one where the kid owns the team? His grandfather leaves in the team. That's one of those cool, like, never gonna happen kids movies, but it's fun to watch when you're a kid.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess it'd be fun to watch now. I haven't seen it in a while, but
my last obscure one. You guys got to tell me if this actually counts. Basketball.
It counts slightly more than your hot dog counts. But, I can't throw shade at you. Technically, I won that competition.
You're good.
I wouldn't call it a baseball movie.
Right,
Definitely,
I
a
wasn't sure
sports
either, but
game.
it's
It's a
definitely
sports
like
movie.
baseball. They like go around the bases. They hit
Yeah.
doubles and home runs.
I mean, but that's
The
like saying
ball
baseball.
looks like a
I mean,
baseball.
wasn't baseball a form of cricket? It evolved from cricket or something. So that's like saying baseball is kind of like cricket. So I mean, but it's definitely a sports movie. I think it's relevant to talk about.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it actually counted or not, but I mean, I put it on my list here.
Yeah.
Ew, your mom slept with Squeak.
Yeah. Um,
Edited.
I guess like
obvious
honorable
purposes.
mentions. The last couple I got on here for like honorable mentions we haven't brought up yet. A League of Their Own.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, great movie.
I haven't even brought that up. That's a great movie too.
That's
That's
a
definitely
really
one
good
you
one.
have
I
to
really like that
see
one.
that it's on. You have to stop and watch it.
That's honestly, it's probably the most like commonly referenced one. Like, there's no crying in baseball. It's probably the
Yeah.
most common baseball reference movie line I hear all the time.
It doesn't get bogged down with baseball terminology too much and too much of the actual game. So there's a lot of people that aren't really into sports that can watch it because it's not too in depth in baseball like a lot of movies are that people like us kind of enjoy because we understand it. So I think A League of Their Own is a very generic in a good way baseball movie. So why it's such a classic because everybody from all aspects of life kind of like it.
Yeah, for sure. Major League.
Oh yeah, Major League. That's a great.
Love that movie, but it honestly feels like someone just took Slapshot and decided that it was going to be hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Decided
kind of.
it was gonna be
It does.
baseball.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it is the same movie. It's just, they put it on ice. Like,
Well, no, Slapshot was 1970 something, which also has the
am I thinking
best
of a different
line
movie then?
in history. You might be thinking 2 or 3, but Slapshot has the best line in history. Refs going over to yell at the one player, one of the Hanson brothers, about I don't want any fighting, I don't want any of this. And the American, the national anthem's playing, and I apologize for the language here, but one of the Hanson brothers just looks down and goes, "I'm listening to the fucking song."
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the greatest moments in film history. Also, the captain of that team went on to make a line of salad dressings.
That's
Fun
awesome.
fact. Yeah.
Then race cars. Paul Newman.
That's awesome.
That's definitely different. Salad dressings and then race cars.
All right, I'm down to my last just couple here. I think I just got 2 more. 42.
Okay, yeah.
Is that the Roger Maris HBO?
No, Jackie Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah. Played by
Chadwick Boseman.
And yeah.
May rest in peace.
One of his last films he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's actually really good, and he does a really good job. Because it more talks about like how he was like picked as the guy that was going to have to suffer, and without really like lashing back out in any way, because he was told like they would use it against him and that kind of thing. So it talks of like that struggle and his basically having to like just take it and come out the bigger man on the other side. So, but Chadwick Boseman, man, is just a fantastic actor in my opinion. R.I.P. Would have loved to have seen him in more stuff, but he did a really good job in that one. And then my final one is The Babe.
Is that the one with John Goodman?
John Goodman as the Babe.
Yeah.
That one's all right, but it is like almost like 99% fiction. Like they didn't really follow a lot of like the timeline.
Yeah, they just kind of hit on the famous parts of his life.
Yeah, it's very fantasticized, I guess, is if that's the word. I'm not sure.
Over exaggerated on a few things.
Yeah, over exaggerated is also very good.
Definitely Peter's on that line of based on a true story.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, honestly, it's one of those movies that frustrates me, right? Because it's like Babe's career was story worthy. you know, like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really need to be like adjusted for dramatic effect, you know, like it's already pretty dramatic in itself because of what it is, you know, the story that you're telling. And I don't know, they do that a lot in like based on, you know, type movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's rearranging the timeline in some kind of way to make like kids come sooner or something like that. Um, which I don't know, just it always frustrates me because usually most of the time I think the story's pretty interesting enough that we could just tell the
Tell the
story the way
story.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't
All right.
seen that one. Anybody know the one, the made for TV one? I think it has to be. It's got to be like 2002, 2003, about Roger Maris when he broke the home run record.
I've never seen it.
No, I don't know that one either.
63 or something like that. All right, I'll have to find it and post it later. Either way, that one was definitely an entertaining watch, especially if you like baseball. It's probably on HBO Max, in all honesty.
Yeah, yeah. If you find it, send it in the chat or whatever. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
All right, so I got one last game for us to play before we can kind of cut out of here on this special 4th of July stream. I just kind of wanted to do like a fun draft. Honestly, I was kind of hoping Chris would be here. Would have made it a little deeper fantasy draft. But I just wanted to do kind of a Independence Day, 4th of July, America movies that you would watch on the 4th of July. So we're going to do like draft style. I have a dice right here actually. And we'll make
You got
Ashton.
a D3?
No, it's a D6, just a regular D6. And so we'll make Ashton 1 and 4. Kenny, you want to be 2 and 6, or you want to be 3 and 6 or 2 and 5?
3 and 6 is fine.
3 and 6. All right, and I'll be 2 and 5. You guys help keep me
1 and
honest.
4.
All right, so 4. That's Ashton.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Let me get the other 2. Nope, that's Ashton again. 6.
Yay,
that's
yay,
Kenny,
yay.
and then I get number 3, I guess.
Okay. I had a couple of movies in mind, and I know Kenny probably has one of these. So I'm going to be nice because he gave me the victory in the hot dog competition today, and I'm not going to pick one of them. I'm going to give you the pass. If you don't pick it in the first round, I'm picking it in the second round. So I'm going to go with the sports movie first because this is a sports show, and I'm going to take D2 The Mighty Ducks. Team USA.
Oh,
That's a pretty good pick, actually. D2.
Yeah, that's going to be my one sport.
That's the Team USA one, right?
Yeah, that's the Team USA beats
that is the
Iceland.
Team USA one.
That's a really good pick for Independence Day. I'm not gonna lie, not even on my list. Really good pick, actually.
How many are we picking?
You want to pick 4?
Okay.
Yeah, let's do 4.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so I got that one.
All right,
All
my
right,
first round
that's a
pick
really
is
good
easy.
pick. Great start.
My first round pick is easy. You all both know what it is.
I think we know this one.
It is Red Dawn, the original from the 1980s. And as much as it pains me, there is nothing like him standing up on top of that rock with the rifle yelling Wolverines. That is one of the greatest films in American history, and it just, fills me with American pride.
That is a
great
good
one.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I had like 2 or 3 that I wanted to get with my first pick, and I feel like y'all haven't picked any of them.
So we're worrying him now. We threw him off.
I know, right? You just all right. I might get judged for this, but I think the first one I'm taking is going to be Sandlot.
How you jerk! I'm gonna take that in the second round.
I like that one. And honestly, too, it's almost purely for like the 30 seconds of the 4th of July scene that's in it. But I don't
mean,
know.
it's pure Americana.
To me
at
too,
the end of the day.
it's like the epitome of what growing up as a kid was like for us in America. You know,
Yeah.
it's not really like that anymore. So it's even kind of storied now. So I think that's a big reason that I'm kind of taking
was-
it's
It was
very
timeless up until a certain point. Like, what did it
Yeah.
take place in the 70s, technically? But like, it's good prior the 60s, 50s, all the way up until I guess 90s, early 2000s. And then when
and once
everybody
the
had
kind of early
smartphones
2000s
and-
hit, there was a
Yeah.
shift. I feel like.
Yeah.
You know? And then, you know what? I think just because I like the history, I like the story, I like Tom Hanks. I'm gonna take Apollo 13.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh, that's a good movie. That's a good movie. All right. Oh,
All right,
you
Kenny,
took
back to you.
you took my next pick off the board there.
See,
So I'm
the one I'm
gonna
gonna
go with
pick,
a
I thought you were gonna
unconventional
pick
person.
already.
Wait, I thought we were doing Snake.
No,
That would mean
Yeah, we're
No, it
snaking.
is you. I was commenting on your next
Oh.
pick. You said he took your next pick. I was commenting, saying I'm
Oh.
surprised.
No, that one was gonna be my next one. But this one just kind of gives me those America, USA vibes, and I'm gonna go Miracle on Ice.
Hmm.
That's a good
what I thought you
one.
were gonna get.
That's on my list.
That was gonna be my next pick if you didn't do it.
That's a good
You
one.
had to know the hockey guy was gonna do it, bro.
Yeah,
And,
I
I
was
mean-
gonna feel uncomfortable picking two hockey movies before you.
And it's the kind of story we love here in America, you know, like the underdog team making it to the top, making it to the finals and winning. Like we love those stories here.
Yeah, when I take that Al Michaels clip and it just kind of like the last couple of minutes, they just play it.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of goosebumps and chills.
There's no words that can encapsulate. I wasn't alive at the time, but as a hockey player, I played on that ice. I watched that movie. Nothing really like we talked about it with your favorite baseball stadium, your local baseball stadium closing and getting demolished.
Yeah.
There's just certain places that are hallowed ground, and for hockey, that is hallowed ground.
Yeah. No, that's a really good pick. I like that.
Oh, and I have two picks now.
Yep,
Okay.
you can go back to back.
Okay, so
Two
my
and
first
two and
pick
three.
is going to be Top Gun.
Oh,
I think I mean it's a military movie, definitely a patriotic movie. They have
okay,
like
just to clarify, is this the first one or the second?
no, the first
New-
one.
First one. Okay, first one. Just
Not that
making
the
sure.
second one wasn't pretty good, but no, we're not. No,
I still haven't seen it yet, but I was just clarifying.
no, the first Top Gun, and
OG.
we had a great soundtrack come from it. A lot of some of the greatest 80 songs that have come out of that decade were from Top Gun as well. And then
That's a really good one.
I guess because it's on the top of my head, it's a pretty good movie. It's based on a true story, but similar to what Dan was talking about, it's very fictionized for more drama and really focusing on the people's lives more than anything, surrounded by an historical event. But I think Pearl Harbor is a really good one, where there are a couple of speeches in Pearl Harbor that give you that, hit you in the feels. Like Alec Baldwin a couple of times gets in there and just gives speeches and makes it you feel very patriotic. Of course,
no,
we know
that's a very good one.
we know how World War II ends, and it's
No, that's a really good one, and it's such a galvanizing time and period. And American
like a
history.
lot of historical events were obviously it was true, but I mean all the characters they made up. Unfortunately, I didn't know that till I'd seen it a few times.
Sure.
And none of those people exist outside.
It's more about the experience of the people.
Yeah, it's a Hollywood film. They have to.
Yeah.
They have to get that
But
drawn
still,
in.
good pick.
Yeah.
All right, Kenny, coming back to you.
Bridge over the River Kwai.
Okay.
Man, that's on my list, and I honestly was not sure if it would even get picked, just because it's such an older, um, like war
I used to
movie.
watch it with my grandpa.
Um, I I actually inherited a Blu-ray of it from my great uncle when he passed. I wish I would have gotten to see it with him. Because to be honest, I've got a couple of like older war movies. I might bring up. We'll see what happens after the draft. Um, but yeah, I had a couple of these older movies, and I was honestly like, I wonder if they'll even pick any of these because I'm not. Uh, I feel like you were the one I was the most worried about. I figured as a veteran you may have actually seen them, but I wasn't sure about Ashton having seen like some of these older like just America like war movies, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a really good one. All right. I feel like I had kind of picked my last two going up to this. I'm fine with them and I'm confident in them. But man, I know there's some really good ones here too. I think I'm going to take The Patriot.
That was my
Oh,
pick.
fuck! I
That was
can't
my
believe I
last
left that
pick.
one off.
The Patriot was my last pick. And I was
Come
gonna have
on,
it as my
like
last
really
pick.
good.
It's a good movie. It's my last pick because I think if you're not interested very much in American history, it probably goes over your head a little bit because it takes place like in the 1700s or whatever.
Right.
But yeah,
1776.
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Revolutionary War. Yeah, it's that
just
time, you know.
in general, yeah. Well, I mean, the revolution
Honestly, the main
was
reason I picked it.
1 year, but yeah, it was a great movie.
Yeah, honestly, the main reason I picked it is because it's like literally like the birth of America, like how Fourth of July is like won and fought for and everything, our independence and everything as a country. So that's definitely probably the main reason I picked it. And then following like the theme of like the birth of America and everything, I think I'm going to take a newer one here. I'm going to go with Hamilton.
You son of a bitch.
Was that your pick? That's a good movie too.
100% was my pick.
I'm trying to think of exactly.
I know it's a musical and everything, but like the one
It was
on Disney Plus,
100% my pick.
so good. It's so good, and I've watched it so many times already, and it's catchy. The music is great. So maybe I don't know. Honestly, I was a little worried about it. I thought it was going to be kind of like a lame pick. I wasn't sure if anybody else was thinking of it too, but man, y'all made me feel good about my last two picks here. So yeah, The Patriot and Hamilton.
I was a theater kid,
last
dude.
two. All right, Kenny coming back, fourth pick.
We're going to go 1776, the movie starring Principal Feeney from, I can't remember his actual name, from
Boy
Boy
Meets
Meets
World.
World. Also another musical, because, you know, you stole my first musical. But if nobody's seen it, absolutely fantastic and a great retelling, and a lot of it was actually shot in Philadelphia.
That is a good one. Yeah, I like that too. What do you got, Ashton?
For my last pick, I'll have to go with my honorable mention one because Dan decided to just be a jerk and take my pick. But it's one that I think people might watch on 4th of July traditionally because it's on TV. We were just watching it earlier. But Independence Day, you can watch. It's another one. You deal with military in America, even though it's really more of the world facing the aliens, but the America is like the main force there. But great movie. It's you watch it after not watching it for a while, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Oh yeah, that's it. And it's just a great movie that lives up to as many alien invasion movies are. It's got to be up there, top of the list. And it decided, hey, we're gonna have this movie on Independence. It's gonna take place on July 4th, or a part of it on July 4th. So we're just gonna steal that holiday, and all of a sudden, they're gonna play our movie every day on Independence Day. And great marketing if that's what they were thinking, but it works out that way. It's not just another alien movie. It's Independence Day. Now it's a patriotic movie, and I drafted it, so it lives on forever. And the Peak One Sports Independence Day movie draft.
What about that
All right.
speech?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we are all. Does he say we are all Americans?
Yeah,
Today we're all
and
Americans.
and legit, he just ends with, "This is our Independence Day."
Yeah.
Such a
Oh,
poignant moment in film
and I
That
guess
was
I
a
have to
good one.
clarify it's the original Independence Day. I know there's a Independence Day resurgence. I haven't seen that one yet, but
Yeah.
the original Independence Day is the pick. But yeah, I guess all
That's a
mine
good
have
one.
really,
Good one
really
to
good
round it out.
speeches, really bone-chilling patriotic speeches.
No, you got a great team here, I think. So Ashton, you finished up with D2 Mighty Ducks, Top Gun, Pearl Harbor, and Independence Day, which like awesome, right? Like D2 is like a great kind of like fun, even like family style
Yeah.
movie. USA, Top Gun's got the soundtrack and the fighter jets and everything. Pearl Harbor and having kind of like your little bit of history and what happens there. Even though it's kind of a fictional story and whatever, the events were real. And
Yeah.
then like Independence Day kind of rounds you out with like a more fun fictional style uh like war for America, which I think you got a great like well-rounded team here that like you covered a lot of bases as far as entertainment goes. Kenny, you got Red Dawn, Miracle, Bridge Over the River Kwai, and 1776. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna lie. This is also a great lineup. It's very different than like what
A very patriotic lineup. Very
like Ashton
patriotic.
has. Yeah, but like but you've definitely got kind of like the older feel to a lot of your movies. Your like most current or recent story is obviously like Miracle. Then you've got like your older U.S. like war stories with Red Dawn and Bridge Over the River Kwai, and the musical version with 1776 to kind of cover down on your music. Not a bad team. I like this one too. I like this a lot. I like the plus. I'm always like a fan of like the historical like story side of like history, sports, whatever. So you got a good one. And then I finished up with Sandlot, Apollo 13, The Patriot, and Hamilton, which I also like. I got like the fun kind of family Sandlot movie. I got plenty of history with like Apollo 13, Patriot, and Hamilton. Hamilton covers the music side. Uh, I say we all did like really well on these drafts. Um, Anybody got some honorable mentions? I got like a handful here that were like still on my list that nobody drafted. I don't know if anybody was thinking about any others that they were considering.
I mean, the Red Dawn remake wasn't bad. If no one's seen it, it was honestly pretty good. If it hadn't gotten shelved for 3 years, it probably would have been a major hit. And then what's no Band of Brothers was a TV show. Never mind.
Honestly, I had one TV show on my list, John Adams
Mhm.
on HBO, which I had considered. That if you haven't seen it, it's pretty good. But it's about like 17. It's actually about the events like leading right up to July 4th when they signed the Declaration of Independence. Um, but it's really good and it's fairly accurate as far as the events and everything that happened and the people involved. But yeah, I kind of did the same thing because I wasn't sure if we were going to do TV shows, so I tried to just stick with movies. One that I got on my list here that I like as far as it's a good America type story, but it's definitely completely fictional. Forrest Gump.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a classic movie. So I think that would that would be
Yeah,
thrown.
and I mean it's a very like persevere no matter what, just always kind of one foot moving forward. Success on the other side kind of
Takes place
story.
during
Just
a
keep
lot
chugging
of
away.
American
Yeah.
historic events.
How about we talk about what recently just happened? The anniversary of D-Day, and we talk about Saving Private Ryan,
Yeah.
the movie that
Yeah.
accurately depicted the storming of the beach at Normandy.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff because even like just kind of shout out like Band of Brothers, because Tom Hanks was also involved with that one, and he does a really good job of bringing like a lot of historical accuracy to the World War II movies that he's done. Um, man, I feel like I'm gonna get the name of this wrong, but it's like Hound Dog. Greyhound. It was a naval movie that he did, which is it's about a fictional ship, but it's supposed to kind of portray what like U.S. sailors were going through in this. So it's basically this gap where they couldn't get any more escort on their way to England. There was this gap before they would like meet English reinforcements or whatever, or ships that were on the other side. So they obviously have to charge through this, and there were a lot of U-boat activity going on in there, and so they end up having like a U-boat battle in the movie. But like I said, it's like fictional, but the events are supposed to be like relative to like what sailors experienced crossing that channel and whatever. So that I mean that was a pretty good one too. But honestly, that one just didn't make my list just because I had like plenty of other ones. As much as I like that movie, like I said, I kind of prefer like the at least more like based on a true story, at least,
Yeah.
and the ones that are a little more like historically accurate. But that one was still good if you hadn't seen it. I also have on my list Born on the 4th of July.
Oh,
Hmm.
I didn't have that on my list. That was one that kind of felt like Rambo to me.
Yeah.
Felt like it was.
I honestly
more
wasn't
of
sure if
a,
anybody was actually going to pick it
I
because
thought about it, but
I wasn't going to, but
it might be less patriotic,
right, a
more
little
felt
anti.
more like a criticism of the government at
yeah,
the
a little
time.
bit,
than
Yeah.
it
right.
did.
This is not the day for that, sir.
Yeah.
Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, that's a good
That's a
one.
pretty good one. Yeah, actually, I didn't even have that one on my list. That's a good one. Just
Captain
more.
America.
Yeah,
Honestly,
hell yeah,
that was actually
Captain
one right here.
America.
My next couple are also just fictional, whatever. But yeah, I had Captain America as one of these three. National Treasure,
Okay.
Oh, great movie.
right?
Great
That's a
movie.
good one. I like that one. Honestly, one I'm
Jealous of
surprised.
Nick Cage for getting to run across the roof of Independence Hall.
Yeah, the one I'm surprised nobody picked, Rocky.
Okay. Yeah. At least Rocky 4, like for sure. I think Rocky 4 would have been more. Yeah,
Right.
I
Well,
can't believe I didn't
yeah,
even
just
think
any
of
of the
that.
Rocky movies, really. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was surprised nobody picked a Rocky movie. Kenny, shout out to you. I don't know if you had these on your list or whatever, but these are the older movies that I had. Um, besides Bridge Over the River Kwai, I had The Longest Day.
Oh my god, you're making me
That's
cry, man.
a really good one. It's long, but it's a like a really star-studded cast.
And
Old.
it's a tough watch, in all honesty.
Yeah, it is. But they did a great job, kind of just like Saving Private Ryan. They did like a very accurate portrayal of like storming the beaches of Normandy and like getting over the wall. And that's it's honestly what the entire movie is, and probably a solid hour to an hour and a half of the movie. And the movie's like 3 hours long. Is like them on that beach. It really can be kind of a tough watch. Like even if you're like really into the history of it and everything, because I mean it was a brutal day. Shout out to those veterans, the few that are left. Greatest generation. And the last old one I got on here is To Hell and Back, the Audie Murphy story
Yeah.
Arguably the greatest soldier in U.S. history.
from Texas. Just shouting out. But yeah, that pretty much rounded out the list and everything that I had. Honestly, I'm even impressed. Most of the movies I had on my list, you guys picked, and there were a couple in here too that y'all went after that I hadn't thought of. Honestly, D2 was one that was not on my list, and that's a standout pick for number one. Incredible pick for number one, I think, Ashton. So
I'm a little
well,
annoyed. I didn't think anybody else would have that one. I
Well,
had
I
that
was
one written
thinking
down.
Miracle, but then I'm like, I know Kenny's going to pick that one. I was surprised you didn't pick it first, but so I picked that instead. I'm
yeah,
like, well,
he got it on the way back though.
yeah. I was going to pick Miracle second if you weren't going to. So, but you got it.
Well, I had to pick Red Dawn. I mean,
Yeah.
I said it in the chat. It's literally there's no other movie on the planet that makes me want to just stand up and scream USA more than
America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, How do we forget that one? Team America, World Police.
Oh yeah, see that would have been a pretty funny pick.
Yeah,
that would have been a pretty good one.
just like 4th of July for a completely different reason. Just not today. Not today.
Right? Yeah, it's not the most pro-America movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the song is great though.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, for sure. All right, boys. Well, I think about wraps it up for our 4th of July special. Shout out and thanks to everybody that hung out and joined with us. It was a good time. Kenny, thanks for judging our wieners. We appreciate you.
Yeah, if you just joined us, it's not as bad as it sounds. That's not what happened. But yeah.
No,
But yeah,
not since the barracks.
Were you
But yeah,
judging winners back then? I guess you had to keep yourself busy.
well, you know,
Yeah,
when you
no,
take
we
a
were
drug
bored.
test, somebody's got to watch you. So
And you definitely judge them. You definitely judge that.
Right.
Yeah, this is basically just like the patriotic Thanksgiving. I'm about to go back and get, whatever's left after, the vultures have rampaged over it. But I know there's some hot dogs left. I'll probably eat more of that. We have homemade ice cream. I know this is the
Nice.
end, but we can see comments after the fact. Comment down below what's on y'all's buffet, what y'all are feasting on today.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know where you're watching fireworks tonight. Everybody just enjoy your families and have a good time. Stay safe, and remember the cost that was paid for the price of freedom. All right.
Thank you to
And
veterans, y'all too, and everybody watching and active military.
yeah,
The
active.
sacrifice of your time, or unfortunately, any, not to get morbid here, but if you sacrifice anything else physically, or you have family that has, thank you for service and the sacrifice.
Yeah, for sure. We thank you guys. All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks.